Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, which is midday in Australia or 1 AM if you're in the UK. Remember, if you miss the live streams, you can catch up with the premiere event streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 PM Pacific time in the US, which is 9 AM in Australia or 10 PM if you are in the UK. I hope all you guys and girls are well. You had a good weekend. Remember, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me during the live streams, that is, not the catch-ups on Friday and Saturday. If you just want to pop in and say hello, that is always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that is completely fine. We're going to keep an eye on OBS today, see if it gives me any problems. I don't know whether the problem last week with the stream cutting out was OBS, the new version of OBS, My Potato Internet in Australia, or maybe a problem with the Twitch server in Sydney. Could have been any one of those three. But I have the stats open on OBS at the moment, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it while I stream and we'll see how we go. Shows me as being live. Good. That's all good. Let's catch up with Discord here. Smurfberry Barbecue, good to see you. Did you have a good weekend, Smurfberry? I saw the plant that you posted on the Discord server. In fact, let's have a quick look at that because it looks very cool. Smurfberry is working on an alien plant. No, it was awful, Smurfberry is saying. Your weekend was awful. That's no good to hear, Smurfberry. We all have awful weekends. I had to work over the weekend, so... Not that it was awful. You know I enjoy what I do, but it was work nonetheless. Again, if you don't know who I am, go to phildoes3d.com. You can read up about me there. It has links to my art station, all that sort of stuff. But this is a plant that Smurfberry Barbecue is working on. Let me just grab the other link. It's looking very nice, Smurfberry. Love it. Love the texturing. It looks really cool. I believe this is a scene that Smurfberry set up in UE4. Let me just zoom in here. And zoom in here. Yeah, it's looking great, Smurfberry. I love the texturing, actually. And you were saying that the emissive material here is looking really cool. Better shot of it here. Really nice. Very, very nice. Yes, Smurfberry, my display resolution is 4K. So... If things look a little small, that's the reason. I stream in 1080p, but my main monitor here is a 4K monitor, so... Yes, that is why I always have to zoom in. Don't think it's you guys, it's my monitor is just, yeah, the 4K screen makes everything super tiny. Just as well we have the ability to zoom in, though, on browsers now. You'll notice that when I jump into Max too, all of the buttons look a bit tiny, that's the reason why. I don't use any scaling either in Windows. Like most people, some people, well, I won't say most, some people, when they use a 4K monitor, they'll increase their DPI from 100% to like 150 or 200%. I don't do that, simply because it messes with some programs. It's getting better, but it still messes with some programs. So I keep it at 100%, and that's why I have to have the glasses to see what I'm doing. Smurfberry says I should just start rendering everything in 4K. It still looks good. It still looks okay. Even zooming in hasn't ruined anything. Still looks really cool. But if you're using UE4, yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to render out in 4K. It's simple, quick, easy. You guys know when I did the cinematic, I was rendering out in 8K and scaling back to 4K. So, there you go. But it's looking really cool, Smurfberry, really nice. Love the design, love the texturing. It is looking really cool. And yeah, I love the emissive. Emissive looks good. Nice work. Again, anyone that doesn't know, jump on the Discord server. there's the link I've just popped into chat. There's a gallery section where you can show off your work. Don't post links in my Twitch chat unless you're a sub to my channel, because you'll get timed out either by Nightbot, Smokery Barbecue, who is a mod, Sniper Girl, who is a mod, or Sniper Echo, who is also a mod. But everyone can post links in Discord, so. Alrighty. So, yeah, you can see, like I said, when I jump into Max, these buttons look a bit tiny for you guys because it's a 4K screen. There you go. We want to finish modelling this terrace today, if not today, tomorrow, because when I come back, because remember, next week I'm being sent to the middle of nowhere for work. They're sending me out to some mine in the middle of nowhere. So no streams next week, but I'll be back the week after. So I'd like to finish the modelling stage of this, the modelling in UV stage, today and tomorrow. If we finish it today, well and good, we'll start the texturing tomorrow. But yep, my plan is to finish off the modelling anyway. No Phil next week, Smurfberry, that's right. You're going to have to do without me for a week, guys and girls. I'm being sent into the middle of Australia, into the desert. They're sending me into the desert for a week. The studio, we have contracts with mining companies, and the studio, even though we're an ArchViz studio, we do a lot of stuff for mining, for the mining industry as well. So they always send me into the middle of the desert in Australia in 55 degrees Celsius heat to talk to the mining people. I'll remind you guys, I'll post either over the weekend or on Monday next week to my Twitter and on Discord, just to remind you I'm not streaming next week, in case you forget, or in case someone's not here to hear me say it. But I will be back the week after. So you only got to do without me for a week. Okay, so there's a couple of things we need to do. Most things are UV mapped. There's only a couple of bits and pieces that still need to be UV mapped. So, and we also, I need to take these stairs into ZBrush as well, just to damage them up a little bit so that they don't look quite so clean. So what to do first? Let's do some UV mapping, because the longer I put off getting into ZBrush, the better, because you know how much I hate that program. UV mapping, UV mapping, UV mapping. Okay, we're making like a kit bash. So what I want to be able to do is I want to reuse the texture for the terrace base on all of our kit bash pieces. I could texture up unique pieces for each one, but I don't think that's necessary. They're kit bash, so they're not going to be using more than one of them at a time generally anyway in their scene. So we don't need to worry about that. But I do want to reuse the textures, and to be able to reuse the textures, I have to make sure that the UV maps are the same between all these different pieces here. Now, we did UV map up these decorative pieces already. But what happened was we had to remove some of them because we had smaller terrace pieces that attached to the other two or three. So I had to actually delete some of the geometry. My concern is that we're going to have a problem copying the UVs between them, so we're going to see whether we are or not right now. It looks to me like these are still grouped, so I'm going to isolate them, ungroup them and attach them. Smurfberry says, that dang inner core of the plant, the high poly, had symmetry issues that I couldn't fix with sculpting or in Photoshop. The inner part, oh, you're talking about where you've got your emissive stuff going on. It still looks good. It looks symmetrical to me, just from the image you posted. So if you had to do it by hand, then you did a good job. You spent all weekend fixing it in Maya. We all have to suffer for our art, Smurfer, I'm afraid. But it looks good. I can't see any problem with symmetry. I can understand though taking longer if you can't work in symmetry mode. That would be a bit of a bummer. Just looking at my stats in OBS, everything is cool, but I've been playing with, you guys know, while I stream to you, I also record my stream to a hard drive locally so that I can edit it in Premiere after the stream and upload it for the Premiere streams, the catch-up streams. And I'm just noticing the bit rate for that might be a bit low, so I may have to play with that afterwards. No, won't affect the stream. Doesn't change; it's the same bit rate as always. But I've been playing with the setting for the recording, and I'm just looking at it. It looks a little low. I might knock it back so the quality is a bit higher. Anyway, let us collapse this and do an attach. Now again, I can't do an attach list, so I'm just going to do the attach manually. Maya hates working in millions of polygons, Smurfberry says. I don't know what version of Maya you're using, Smurfberry. I thought it had gotten better though. I know Max has gotten better. It used to have a real problem with really high poly scenes, but it's pretty good now. Speaking of which, the new version of Max is due to be released in the next month or so. I wonder what surprises Autodesk have for us Max users, what new things. I think a lot of us would just be happy if they fix the broken things, really. Again though, Max has been pretty good, I have to admit. It hasn't crashed on me for a while. Wow. Smurfberry says it displays them fine, okay, but God help you if you want to do something to the mesh, like change normals for millions of faces. Yeah, I've noticed too in Max, if you're doing any UV mapping on a really high poly object, that can slow Max down quite a bit too, which is why I use Ryzen UV to do my UV mapping now. One of the reasons. It's faster and it handles the millions of polys much better. So yeah, Max's UV mapper on a high poly object can cause problems. You generally aren't UV mapping a high poly object though anyway, too much. Okay, let's do the same for this one. Okay, we've got one over here that I need to delete, so let's ungroup it. That was just the one that I used when I did the sweep along the path to create the decoration, so we can remove that now. We're going to be using this one as a test to see if I can copy my UVs across. Because we've changed the geometry by deleting pieces from the one we want to copy from, Max might lose its mind. It might not like it. So we'll see how we go. I've moved one of my rendering machines down here. Hopefully you guys can't hear it going in the background. It is behind my mic, so... And because I use cardioid mode on my Yeti, it should be blocking anything behind it. But I can hear it. I can hear it rendering away. So I'm doing some rendering stuff for work. And the rendering machine was upstairs, but I've moved it down into the main lounge room. Just because it's easier for me. I might swap out the graphics card. I think it's the graphics card in it that's a little bit noisy. Alright, so that's all attached. Let's jump out. Now let's see if we can copy our UVs across. Let's start with the straight pieces here. So what I'm going to do is throw an unwrap down and check to make sure it is UV mapped. And it is. Let's copy that modifier, select this one, paste that UV map, open it up, and it did not copy the UVs across. That is annoying. But now I could go into Unfold 3D, or Verizon UV as they call it now, and re-UV map it, but that means I'm going to have a different texture from this one, and I don't want that. So our only options are going to be this. We are going to have to remove this piece and copy this one over. It's a pain, but it's going to be the only way we can do it to keep the same UV map. I'm just going to center the pivot as well. Galen, it's good to see you, Galen. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? Galen says, I did my first sculpt in 3 years today. Looks okay, but I learned a valuable lesson. Things look much deeper than they are. Okay, what were you using for sculpting, Galen? You're using ZBrush? Mudbox? I'm just curious. And you learned that things look much deeper than they are. It's good to see you though, buddy. Hope you had a good weekend. Okay, let's go full screen on the top viewport. And I'm going to copy these across, which does mean we're going to have to delete those ones inside the small terraces again. I know it's a pain. I really should have done this before I did that. My bad. Of course, we've got to get it to line up too. Galen says sculpted. Oh, sculpted in Blender. Oh, okay. I did a human ear and thought I was going too deep in some areas, but after rendering it, it didn't go deep enough. Well, you can always go back and re-sculpt it in a bit more. What's sculpting like in Blender? I'm just curious. You can sculpt in Max as well. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be my first choice. So certainly, as long as it's not a complicated sculpt, it's okay in Max. But Max's tools aren't great for sculpting. But you can do it just like you can texture paint in Max as well. Again, as long as it's not anything too complicated, it's generally okay. Just going to make sure we are lined up correctly. It doesn't look too bad. Copying it, of course, we have the same UVs, which is good. That's what we want. We don't want to have to create new UV sets. You posted it to Discord? Cool, let me have a look. Copy the link. Now, anyone that doesn't know, Galen streams on Twitch as well, so you should check his channel out. Very nice. Oh, I can see what you mean about it maybe not being quite deep enough, probably through the inner part of the ear here. It looks very cool. Actually, for tools built into Blender, I think that's cool. You did a great job. Very nice. What are you building? What are you making? What character? Are you doing a character, or are you just doing it to test out your sculpting skills? You wanted to get used to the tablet. Oh, okay. Yep. Remember I said to you guys and girls, I use a Wacom tablet as well. But they do take a little while to get used to, particularly if you're used to using a mouse. They are really good. I do recommend you use a tablet, particularly for sculpting, because it does help a lot. But yeah, it does take a little while to get used to. Just a couple of weeks and you'll be sculpting with the best of them using a tablet and a pen. Galen says, it was just a practice piece. Okay. Android Lust, it's good to see you, Android Lust. Did you have a good weekend? It is good to see you. We're just looking at an ear that Galen is just doing some test sculpting on in Blender to get used to his tablet. Getting used to using a tablet again. Looks cool, Galen. And yeah, I'm impressed that you can create that inside of Blender. You probably could in Max too with their built-in tools, but they really are really basic. Yeah, the tools built into Macs are very, very basic. Weekend was A+. Well, that's good to hear, Android Lust. And Galen says, I have a Wacom Intuos 5 medium. I have a Wacom Intuos, I can't remember the number. I have a large, and then I also have a small. And people might be saying, why do you got two? Well, cheeky. I find the large one, which is, I think it's 12 inches by 8 inches. Really good if I'm doing any sort of drawing work. And the small one, which is I think 4 inches by 5 inches, I find good if I want to do any fine texture painting work. So the small one is good for modelling stuff and texturing models. The large one is good if I'm working in Photoshop and I'm doing freehand drawing type stuff. So that's why I got two. But I use the small one more than the large one is on my second machine here, which is my stream PC. Because I do less drawing work. I find the smaller one better. Because once they get above a certain size, you have to start moving your hand a lot more, and that gets tiring after a while. So the smaller tablet, you don't have to move your hand so much, so your hand doesn't get quite so tired. That's what I find. And I got finer control as well on the small one. But Wacoms are good. They're good. Like, you know, Wacom have been in the industry for a long time. Or Wacom, or however you want to pronounce their word. Galen says, funny Aussies, Wacom, we say Wacom. Yeah, some people say Wacom, some people say Wacom. I used to say Wacom, and I heard everyone calling it Wacom, so I've just picked up on what everyone else says now. But they're both, however, ID software, id software, it's all the same sort of stuff. I think it actually is supposed to be id software, but anyway. Wacom, that's right, Wacom Android Lust, Wacom. Easy to remember. And you know how I love the fill slaps, so Wacom is appropriate. Android Lust says, I need another tablet, I'm killing mine. I find that the pen nibs, I wear down these pen nibs so much and so quickly. They do, when you buy one, they give you a few, but yeah, that's what I find. That and the, you know how the tablets, well, my two are anyway, are actually covered in like a sheet. You can remove the sheet, like it's not there permanently, if you just want to work on the tablet surface, but I like to actually work on top of this. It's like I'll say a plastic sheet, but it's not plastic. I don't know what it is exactly. It's a type of plastic. I like that because I don't like the hard feeling if you work directly on the surface of the tablet. It just makes it a bit smoother to work on. But that wears out and the pen nibs wear out. I don't know what you're doing to kill your tablet though, Android Love. Galen says, I use the greyish white nibs mostly, but really need to get used to the pressure nib. Yeah, I do too. This is my other pen here for the Wacom. Where are we? I use the white ones when that's the bigger tablet, which I use to do drawing. The smaller one, I use the black nibs. That's the one I used to do texture painting on and stuff. Snoopery says, Intuos 3. Everyone's got Wacom tablets. Good to hear. You know, of course, you don't have to buy a Wacom tablet. Wacom are the best. They have the most levels of sensitivity. They're a well-known brand. Their driver software is very good as well. But there are others that you can buy if you like, because Wacom can get a bit expensive buying Wacom tablets. But there's a whole range of Wacom tablets as well. You don't have to go Intuos, which is the top of the range, or Cintiq, or whatever they call it, which is the screen one, where you actually paint on the screen, which would be very nice, but they're a couple of grand. And I use them, but not enough to justify spending a couple of grand on one. Android Lost says, the surface of my tablet is wearing out, it still works. Oh, yeah, well, that's right. As long as it works, that's the important thing. It's not how it looks, it's, you know, how it performs. That's the most important thing. Your Intuos 3 is still alive, Smurfer? Yeah, well, they do. They make really good products. You know, I've dropped mine a couple of times and it's still going strong. Scalen says, I like that the back end of the pen can be used as an eraser. Yes, it can. That is very handy as well. No problem, Smoper. You can be right back. I also like the fact that you can program the what do they call this? The slider thing, the control for the click thing. I like it. You can program those to be whatever you want as well inside of the driver software. So you can set up macros to do stuff depending on which one of the up or the down click you use. Android DOS says I can't use the back as an eraser. Why is that? You just don't like it. You can't get used to swiveling your thing around and. Although I have to admit, when I work in Photoshop with the pen, I generally don't use the eraser either. I generally hit the eraser button and then use the actual top of the pen to do fine erasing. I get more control with this than I do with this. But this can be handy if you're just doing large areas of erasing. Galen says, very handy in Blender using the grease pencil functionality. Can draw topology with a grease pencil and convert it to a mesh. Okay. Android DOS says, I'm sure my tablet is cheapo. I got it for free, but that's the best price. You can't get better than free, Android DOS. I mean, that is the best price. I wouldn't be complaining about free at all. But let's get back to what I was saying. Don't think you need to buy Wacom and spend hundreds of dollars. There are much cheaper alternatives. They all have at least 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity now, even the really cheap ones. I mean, it used to be only Wacom had that, but now the cheaper ones have it too, so you can get good results from a cheap one as well. Alright, let us remove these pieces in here again because I had to remove the other one we did, so... Galen says, only better price is if they paid you to take it. Well, that's true. Okay, I'm going to throw an edit poly on top of my UV modifier here. And you're going to be a real pain. I knew it. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out where we're removing them from. Like that. We're going to go into isolation mode. So I know I need to remove them between those two red selected pieces. Those. Okay, let's delete them. Okay. Now I'm going to collapse my stack, throw another unwrap on top, and we're going to check our UVs again. And our UVs are still fine. Now you will notice doing it like this, because I'm using this, I want to use the same UV map. We don't have great packing on our UV space. You can see we've got large areas in here that are missing. That's because we deleted the geometry that represents. But we can't repack the UVs and keep the same texture map. So it's a trade-off. We can reuse the same UV map multiple times on different pieces, but we can't repack it to take better advantage of our UV space. Because if we did that, then we'd have to create a new UV map, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So Android Lust says it's funny because they gave it to me before I even thought about trying anything 3D. A few years later, I thanked them. Well, that's good of them. See, they must have had a premonition you were going to become a 3D person. But the tablet is good too, not just for 3D. That's why I have the other one. If you're just doing, even if you're doing drawing in Photoshop, the tablet is really great. Of course, if you're doing sculpting in, say, ZBrush or Mudbox, the tablet is really great. If you're doing 3D work, the tablet is great, but not just 3D stuff. Just normal normal drawing stuff, it's really good as well. I think how we'll tackle this is I'm going to keep going with the same pieces, and then we'll come back to tackle the smaller pieces here. So I think that'll be easier. Checking everything is still working properly. Man, I get so sick of updates. Firefox. How many times are they going to update Firefox in a week, guys? Come on. Come on. It's not just Firefox. Chrome. They update Chrome way too much as well. It gets really annoying. Constantly updating the browser. Of course, I use Chrome for my daily browser. Microsoft Edge, which gets updated when Windows doesn't update, so that's not so bad. But I also have Firefox installed. That's just so it comes from doing web development stuff. I need to be able to check how a web page looks in multiple browsers because they don't all handle stuff the same way. So that's why I have 3 browsers installed. But man, Chrome and Firefox constantly wanting to update. This is the second time it's done it in a week. Let me... No, I don't want that. Just let me... That's what I want. There we go. Okay, let's copy the next one over. I'm going to continue copying the copied ones because it will save us time because we've already removed that section through there, so that'll be that section through there. You guys know what I mean. Alrighty, let's shift click and drag out a copy. Before I do that, let me remove the old one. So we're going to remove this one. Again, let me line this up. And check it. Alright, so those ones are already removed. We only have to remove the ones from here. Let's do an edit poly. We want to remove them from here to here. So do you like using the tablet Android Lust? Obviously you do, you wouldn't use it otherwise, I'm assuming. Again, it can take a little while sometimes to get used to. I know you've used it for a while, guys, Android Lust, but anyone new that buys a tablet, it can take a good couple of weeks to get used to using it. Okay. Now I'm going to collapse my stack, do an unwrap and check our UVs again. You see we've got more and more space happening now. Again, we can't really avoid that. But it does mean we'll be able to reuse the same texture map. That's what we want. Let's have a look at the last one here. I'm actually going to have to do that for this one as well. The main one we're using to do the beauty renders. Just before I copy it over, let's delete the old one. This way. Shift click it, copy. Again, I'm just going to remind you guys that I won't be streaming next week. I'm getting sent to the middle of nowhere. But I will remind you when I'll post to Twitter and Discord on the weekend or on Monday to remind you. I'll be back the week after, so I'm only missing next week. Make sure we're lined up and we look good. Those ones are already removed. Let's work on removing these ones. So from there, to there. And from there to there. Oh, went a bit too far. Good. Again, I'm going to collapse my stack and do an unwrap UVW. And you can see this one. This is quite dramatic because we've removed a lot of the decoration. Ideally, I'd like to repack that, but we can't. We can't. If we want to reuse, we can't. Okay, the last one will be the main terrace here. So I need to copy this one and put it where, come on, where this one is. And Philip forgot to hold down the shift key. Let's get it lined up. And let's do our delete. Okay, there's a couple in there, so let's throw down an edit poly. So I know I need to remove 2 from that side of that one. And probably the same from this one. So those, and let's take these 2 and these 2. Just before I do a delete, I'm going to jump back and check. Yep, that's that one there. And that one there, good. Let's remove those. This one we want to go from here to to... I might leave that one in. To here, and probably 2 to that side of this one. And probably these 2. And double check. Yep, that takes us to there. Actually, I want to keep that one, I think. So we'll keep that one. In fact, I might keep this one as well, I think. Delete. And the last one. Making sure I'm still streaming. I get paranoid now after all those problems last week. So from there to double check. Okay, I think there might be 2 in here I can extend, so let's have a look. Yes, I can remove that one. That's hidden right behind the column here. And this side. Yep, hidden behind the column, so we can remove those. Okay, that's that one done. Let's collapse that stack and throw on an unwrap UVW. Check. Yes, our UVs are good. Alright. Let us do a quick save, just to be on the safe side. It gives me a chance to have a copy. And max is saving. Where are we? OBS has been behaving itself, which is good. I'm assuming I'm still streaming. I hope Sniper Girl is good. She's been having a few problems with her mum. Her mum's been in hospital, as you guys that are regulars know. Anyone watching that isn't might not know. So I hope everything's going well for her. You are. I disconnected a bunch. Are you being cheeky, Android Lust? OBS has been stable. There has been no drops on OBS. I'm looking at the stats as we speak. I don't know why you would have disconnected. It's not on my end, though. No, my connection died. Your connection died, Andrew. Okay. Do remember we do have transcoding on the stream, so if you can't watch me in my 1080p all gloriousness, is that a word? You can knock me back. Just keep knocking me back until you get a stable stream. You can go all the way down to 160p, which just looks absolutely atrociously awful, but hey, you've got no choice. I'll just be a blurry mess of pixels in the corner. Actually, it's not that bad. 160p is not that bad. Unless you're watching it on 1080p screen. Okay, max is saved. Alright. Let's do the next bit, which are these small ones. Again, let's double check they are UV mapped. I'm pretty sure they are. We did those last week. Yep, they're UV mapped. Let's remove these ones and replace them with these ones. stable at the moment. Well, good to hear. I feel your pain, Android Lust. I live in Australia and we have atrocious potato internet in this country. It is terrible. For those that don't know, the government have spent close to 70 billion with a B dollars upgrading our internet in this country. What's going on here? Hang on. Let me work this out. And I don't have the upgrade yet, put it that way. They're upgrading the internet. It's taking a lot longer than it's supposed to. Oh, I see. I'm just going to collapse my stack here and reset my pivot. Yeah, it's taking a lot longer than it's supposed to. Why are you doing that? Center to object. What? Oh, I see. Look, this one way out here, which is what we use to actually create the array along the path, is actually part of the object. I'm thinking, why is it putting my pivot point way out here? Smurfberry says, table flip here. I once thought Australia was going to be a model for broadband development to the home. Yeah, look, they let us all down. The government of the day here in this country. For anyone that doesn't know, we have a Labor government and a Liberal government. They're the two main parties. When the Labor government were in power, they were the ones that decided everyone was going to get NBN, National Broadband Network, which is fibre optic to the home. They went out of power and the Liberal Party came in power, and the Liberal Party didn't want anyone to have good internet in this country, so they changed the whole system and they introduced HFC, which is hybrid fibre coaxial, FTTN, which is fibre to the node, FTTC, which is fibre to the curb. All of these different technologies, they're sort of mangling into the NBN. So where it used to be all fibre, now it's all these different pieces of rubbish. And that's causing major problems. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to delete this one that's outlying, what we don't want. So yeah. Thank you, Liberal government. There we go. Now we're in the middle. Now we can throw our unwrap on. Let's double check we didn't mess up our UVs. No, good. So, and I don't even have the fibre to my network yet. It was supposed to be installed in 2017. Then they delayed it and froze it for 12 months. And now they've started redoing it again, but I'm due to get it in the next 3 months or so. I'm due to be connected up, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Not that I expect it to be any good anyway, because, you know, they stuffed everything up anyway. So, yes, you don't want to follow our lead, Smurfberry. We've got rubbish. It's just been a total mess. The internet. New Zealand have really good fibre internet because their government didn't mess it up. Andrew's Us said I would still trade internet with you. Yeah, I don't know. Our internet is incredibly expensive. I don't know what you guys pay over there, but wow, the internet in this country, man, is it expensive. Expensive, particularly mobile data. Wow, that's expensive. You know, they make it expensive because they can. We've got like 3 major mobile operators here, mobile phone operators. And, you know, you get data plans with your mobile phone now. But we've only got 3, so it's like the banks. Because there's so few of them, they can charge an arm and a leg, and they do. Just outrageous. Outrageous, I say. That looks lined up. Yep. Good. Let's throw it in and edit poly and rinse and repeat and remove the ones we don't want. So we don't want them from there to... So I bet there's one hidden in there. I'll check that in a minute. To there. I'm actually going to grab that one there and that one there and see if we can remove them too. That one we can. And that one we can. Good. Alright, let's keep going and copy them along. Again, I'm going to collapse my stack. And again, I'm going to throw an unwrap and double check our UVs. And that's good. So we're going this way. Let's remove that one. And copy that one. Does everything sound okay to you guys? Like, can you hear my fans at all? I'm just curious. Can you hear my computer fans? Can you guys tell me whether you can hear my computer fans or not? Yeah. I'm curious more than anything because I can hear them. I just don't know if you can hear them because, like I said, my mic is being cardioid or whatever. It should only pick up my voice, not what's behind it. You heard a tiny bit of a fan earlier. It's probably too quiet. Thanks for telling me, Smithbury. Yeah, because otherwise I'm going to have to move that rendering machine if it's getting picked up on stream. Because I can hear it. But again, like I said, it's behind my mic, so hopefully the mic isn't picking it up. And I do audio correction through Adobe Audition before it goes out to you, which filters out a lot of background hiss and noise anyway. Poor little machine's being worked to death. I can hear it. I can hear those fans going a million miles an hour. Let's double check that we are lined up. We are. Okay, let's throw an edit poly down and get rid of the ones we don't want. So from here to here. And I'm pretty sure we can take the ones on the other sides of them as well. Yep, and yes, that one's hidden inside the wall. Good. Let us collapse the stack and check our UVs. That's good. And let's remove the last one here. Oh, wow. There we go. Double check we're lined up. And we are. Okay, so we want to remove it from here to here. And we'll take the ones on either side as well. And from here to here. And the ones on either side. Good. Collapse the stack and check our UVs. Yeah, again, we're wasting a lot of texture space here, but can't be helped. And the last one, which is the main terrace. So let us remove these ones. And let's copy these ones over. We're lucky too that we've got like that that edge border here, so if by any chance we are just a slightly bit off with the positioning, we're not going to notice it because it's going to be hidden by that border. So that's good. Alrighty, let's do our removal. We want to go from here to here. And I think we can take the ones either side as well. Yes. And yes, so let's delete those. That looks good. And these ones. I always try to pull my weight. They say the other side is greener. I'm pretty sure I won't be late. I play my cards as I'm supposed to. This one and this one. Good. Now, we've copied our UVs across to everything so we can reuse the same texture maps. I'm pretty sure these ones were already UV'd. Let me double check now. Yep, that one was done. Let's just double check these ones are also done. They should be. They're a direct copy. Let's just jump into isolation mode. I'm going to ungroup it. Do an unwrap and open it up. Yep, that's done. Good. Did I do these? That's the next question. No. Wow. Although we're not making any changes. Just let me have a look at this for a minute. I see. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Right. Doesn't look like I UV mapped these, which is strange. Why didn't I UV map these? Alright, we didn't UV map them. That's the way it is. Let's collapse the stack. I'm going to combine these two, the upper border and the lower border together. So, first things first. Let's attach them together. Smokeberry says, does Max have a transfer attributes function like Maya? Not that I'm aware of. Max does have this channel info where you can transfer stuff between meshes, but I don't know about attributes. I've not come across anything to do with attributes. It would be handy though, because if Maya has that functionality, that would be incredibly handy. Although I've noticed with Max can lose its mind pretty easily with UV mapping. Like the mirroring tool. If you use the mirror tool up here, Max completely loses it and it messes your UVs up. Then you've got to go into the channel info to fix it. So Max can lose its mind with UV mapping at the best of times, regardless. Smokeberry says you could one-click copy the UVs from one mesh to another in Maya. Yeah, well, you can do that in Max too, like I said, through the channel option here. The channel info. You can copy UVs that way. But I've noticed Max really has a problem with UV mapping in general. If the mirror tool, it messes UVs up. This won't copy between geometry if there's a difference in the geometry most times. So if I was to cut a piece out of here like we have for the others, it won't let me paste the UVs in. Yeah, I don't know if that's just a quirk of Max or what's going on there. We'll just have to make do with what we got to work with here in Max, I think. So I'm pretty sure the tops here will be fine. Again, I'm just double checking here. So the top and the bottom railing is fine. That's UV mapped. So that should be the same for all of these pieces. That's UV mapped. Again, we're cutting parts of the mesh, so that's why parts of the geometry are missing from the UV map here. I'm just going to, before we start messing around with the rest of it, go through and make sure these ones are the same. Let's ungroup. Unwrap. Yep, that's UV map, so that's good. And the last one here. Let's ungroup. And check our UVs. And again, again, you see the problem we're having with the that's so much wasted UV space. But we can't repack it because we want to use the same texture map. I'd be tempted with this one to actually create a separate texture map because that is so much wasted space. It's really, really bad. So I may come back and repack this one here, but we'll think about that in a minute. Let's get the rest of them copied across first. So first things first, let's UV map the top and the bottom border edges here. We'll send this through to Rism UV. But that option to copy between UVs and Maya sounds incredibly helpful and useful. And I wish Max had it. I just wish Max's UVs in general weren't quite so temperamental. Let us try this one. Just waiting for it to work out what it's doing. This mesh is quite high simply because I wanted a nice smooth round curve. Let's get it to pack it. And again, I'm using a program called Horizon UV. I've spoken about it before on stream. The regulars know all about it. It does automatic unpacking for you, which UV mapping is one of the things I just hate the most about 3D modeling. I love everything else, but I hate UV mapping. And this program does it auto-magically. So let's just double check to make sure that looks right. That looks fine. Let's send it back. Okay, so now we're UV mapped. I'm going to collapse the stack, throw an unwrap on so we can check to make sure everything's fine. And now we just have to copy it between these pieces. We actually, looks like we forgot to remove it from in here anyway, between these upper and lower terrace, so it's no big deal for us to delete them anyway. So remove that. Copy that. Check that it's lined up. And that looks fine. Is that fine? Is that fine? Yes, that's fine. I was just worried there was a gap here, but it's just a shadow. Okay. Let us keep going and we'll come back and fix up these areas that need cutting. So we want to remove these two. We'll copy that one over. Looks fine. And these two. And that looks fine. Alright, let's just start cutting these up now. So what I'm going to do is, where do I want to cut them inside of the where do I want to cut them? Yeah, I think I'll cut them inside of these columns to hide where they're being cut. So, edit poly quick slice, and we're going to cut it through here and here and here. I can't remember, I think I started there, I think. We'll find out in a minute. Should have been paying more attention. That one there, I don't want to go quite that far. Okay, it's hidden in the column, hidden in the column. Come a little bit further on this, on this one. Move a little bit on this one. And delete. And so I'm going to come a bit further on this one. And a little bit further on this one. And delete. And it just leaves this one here. And delete. Okay. Let's collapse the stack. Check our UVs, which are going to not be using a lot of the UV space again because we've removed most of it. And we're going to have to decide whether we're going to retexture it by repacking the UVs or not. I think the easiest thing to do for me just making that decision, I'm going to leave it as it is until we've textured up these others. And then we'll see what the texture looks like with it using UV space really badly. If it doesn't look great, then we can repack it and redo the texture. I think that's the best way to tackle it. Let's cut this one off. So we're going to slice it through there and there and there. Android Lust says, my internet is being too much of a pain with the constant disconnects. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully it won't do it tomorrow. Well, thanks for being here, Android Lust. I'm sorry your internet's is playing up. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. You have a good night, day, whatever time it is, Android Lust. Let's add to this selection. And add to this selection a little bit more. And let's delete it. You know, internet's an essential service. It really annoys me when the government of our countries can't give us decent internet. I consider it like like electricity power now. It's an essential thing to have, the internet, because we use it so much for everything. If you don't have it, then you're in trouble. Okay, now let's do this one, which is the last one, I think, apart from the main terrace over here. So this one we want to quick slice it through here and here. And select it through there. It's okay. And that's okay. No, we might just extend that just a little bit more. And delete it. And that one doesn't need to be deleted, but I think we need to do this one. This should be already UV mapped. Let's double check. Yes. These two, though, we need to copy. We need to delete and replace. So let's remove those. And copy these. And double check that we're right. And that's okay. And slice it up. Pretty sure I got that one. So we want to remove it through here. And through here. And here. Alrighty. Let's do a quick save so we don't lose what we've done. So the next thing I'm going to check is the ironwork. I'm pretty sure we already UV mapped that. Should be okay. What I'm probably going to end up doing too is the large iron decorative pieces here. I might create 2 or 3 different textures for that, just so we have a bit of variation. The texture doesn't look identical on all of them, because we use them a few times around the outside of the railing. So just having 2 or 3 different variations of the texture just to mix it up a bit, like we did when I did the Baroque Terrace on Twitch. So we'll just create a couple, 3 different versions of this texture for this piece. Yeah, but I want to check the ironwork. So I'm going to collapse my stack, throw an unwrap down and open it up. Oh wow, no, they're not UV mapped. So annoying. I was sure I UV mapped them, you know. Just going to check this one to see if this one's not UV mapped as well. And no, it is not. Okay. Alright, same thing. Let's UV map it. Smurpery says it's like a washing machine that steals socks, but it steals UVs. I thought we did these. I wonder if I'm getting confused because I think we did these. I think this is what I'm getting confused with. I think these were the ones we did. Again, I'm just going to double check here. Because I'm sure I did one of them. Yeah. We did the ones inside, but we didn't do the ones outside. That's why I'm getting confused. And let's face it, it doesn't take much to confuse Phil, so. Alright, that's okay. That's alright. Well, we're going to see if we can copy the UVs across, and if we can't, then we'll just have to do what we did for these pieces. But let's start with this one. Okay. Let's send it to Rhizome UV. Alright. Let us try the first option here. Let's see what that gets us. Got a sweaty back. Isn't that awful? Gross. Let's do an unfold and see what it gets. But you are right, Smurfy, about the washing machine. I've noticed that too. It does steal socks. Where do those socks go? You put 2 socks into a washing machine, you get 1 back. I don't know where they disappear to, but they do. Let's give it a pack. Why am I waiting? Come on, you can do it. Let's throw down a checkerboard pattern here so I can check how our UVs are looking. It's going to be difficult because they're very thin. But that's looking okay. We're getting a little bit of stretching, a little bit of red at the top and the bottom, but nothing drastic. We're getting a little bit of blue, which is squishing, but nothing drastic. Particularly because we're going to be using like a wrought iron texture here, you're not going to notice the stretching or the squishing on those few parts that are having a bit of an issue here and there. But aside from that, everything else looks like it's pretty well UV'd. So let's send that back. Okay, now let's see if we can copy the UVs across, and if we can't, we're going to have to duplicate like we did last time. So I'm going to collapse my stack, throw down an unwrap, check our UVs, right, copy. Let's see if we can paste them on here. Open UVs, and again, Max is telling me no. Computer says no. Most of our UVs are being squished down here in this little corner, so it doesn't like it. Now, it doesn't like it because the geometry is not exactly the same. And like I said, Max has a problem with that. Let's try the channel mapping thing. So I'm going to select this. Select this, select. We're going to open up the channel info. That's my map channel there. I'm going to try copying that across, but I have a feeling it won't let me. We'll see. You see how that's grayed out? I can't click that. The geometry is different. Max says no. So we don't have that option, unfortunately. So that means we're going to have to remove this and duplicate a copy across. So delete that. Now before I copy this across, I want to check these and see if these are UV mapped. Looks like they are. And they are. Good. So let's copy them across. Trooper, good to see you, Trooper. How are you? Did you have a good weekend, Trooper? Always good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good weekend. Select that one and that one. No, yes, that's what we want. So because these are so piddly, I'm going to group this so that it'll just make moving it around easier for me in case I deselect something by mistake. We're going to have to do some attaches, but let's just group it for now. Okay, let's copy that across to here. Let me double check that we're lined up. Trooper says, I'm stressed out but excited too. I got accepted into college for modelling. That's great news. That's good to hear. I'm really well. I had to work over the weekend, but that's okay. But that's wonderful news. Congratulations. You got accepted to college to do your 3D modelling. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Yeah, I'm sure you will. I enjoyed college. I thought it was fun. Maybe I'm a bit weird. But I enjoyed going to uni. Smepper says, make sure you keep up with your extracurricular modelling stuff. Lurk on Twitch, watch YouTube tutorials. Yeah, I agree. Do. Just do as much 3D modelling and watching people doing it or watching tutorials as you can. It'll come in really helpful and handy when you when it comes time to do assignments and stuff at uni. Trust me. Looks like I'm just a little bit out. What I'm going to do here... No, I'm not going to do that. Trooper says, thank you, I'm so excited for it. I definitely will, Smurfery. I'll be here as much as I can, experimenting with programs like, well, that's good to hear, yeah. Smurfery says, if there's one thing I could tell college me, it's ask more questions and learn as much outside of class as in it, yeah. And that's excellent advice Smurfery there is giving you, because I found that as well. The more you learn outside of class, the easier it will be for you to do your assignments and to get good grades in your course. And that's what it's all about. You got to stand out from everybody else. So getting good grades helps in that regard. And the more you know, the easier it will be. Smurfery says, although these days there is much more information about, yeah, there is. Kids today, Smurfery, they're spoilt for choice, aren't they? Spoilt for choice. Back in my day, I just got to make sure I'm lining this up correctly. Trooper says, my lecturers are really chill people and they say they love helping people even after, so hopefully they'll be good help too. But the community is really good too, yeah. Get help from everyone. Get help from the lecturers, and if they're good, then that helps. But watch a lot of tutorials, watch guys on Twitch doing stuff. You guys, you know that we have the Discord server as well, Trooper, so if during any of your studies you get stuck with something and you can't talk to your lecturers about it, or for whatever reason, then jump on Discord and I'm sure one of us will help you out if we can. That's what the Discord's for, guys and girls. If you're doing 3D and you have a problem, jump on Discord. Jump on the Phil Does 3D Discord. Trooper says, sorry I haven't had much sleep. My head is all over the place. That's okay. You celebrating? Have you gone out to celebrate or anything like that, getting into your course? Just going around checking my positioning here. I think what I'm going to do to make it easier on myself to see, I'm going to go into isolation mode here. It'll just make it easier for me. Smurfery says, like ArtStation didn't even exist when I was in college. Trooper says, no, I'm lacking a lot of money. I will do something when I start earning, I think. Discord didn't exist. No, I didn't know about Discord until I started streaming. It wasn't until you guys watching me mentioned Discord. I knew nothing about it prior to that. Absolutely nothing. I never heard of Discord. It probably wasn't around when I was at uni either. Twitch didn't exist. How long has Twitch been going? Of course, it was Justin TV before it was Twitch. And I remember watching Justin TV, so I think Justin TV was around when I was at uni. Maybe. I could be wrong. Yeah, because I know that Twitch bought Justin TV and then it became Twitch. Smurfery says, yeah, although to be fair, Justin TV did exist when I was in college. Smurfery says, no idea how much art was streamed there. I heard it was all, wasn't it all pirated stuff that they used to stream on Justin TV? I could be wrong. I don't want to go slandering a company that unfairly, but I thought they used to stream movies and stuff. I think they did used to be some art streams on there from memory. I think. But you are spoiled for choice now, that's for sure, between Discord and ArtStation and half a dozen other things you could be watching, Twitch, YouTube. So many avenues for you to learn from. Trooper says, yeah, I'm lucky to be here in an era, but I'm about the era I am, but I bet in a few years' time I'll be saying the same as Smurfberry. It'll be some device that just pumps info into your brain with no effort. I want that device too, Smurfberry. Sounds wonderful. Pump that information into my brain. You are really going to make me work to get you lined up, aren't you? You're going to make me work. It's my fault for not being more careful and checking before I copied these pieces around. I should have checked that they were UV mapped, and I didn't. So I've only got myself to blame. Let me jump into the top viewport. It might make it a little bit easier for me to line them up. Of course, the beauty of us copying them is, you know how we went through and made those alterations so that they weren't perfect? We can just copy those alterations now, so that's good. I might just pull you up a little bit. Move you over just a little bit. Smurfberry says Justin TV's initial focus was live casting or whatever. Just live cast whatever you're doing. Oh, okay. Isn't Twitch like that though? Don't people just, particularly in IRL and just chatting and stuff, isn't that what they do now? They just broadcast whatever it is they're doing. Yeah, looks like it has to come over just a bit. Yeah, but Twitch caters to gaming first, Smurfberry says. I guess that's true. I think we're lined up. I think we are. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. Lined up enough, it should be fine. But we do need to remove some bars now, so let's do that. Yeah, we're a group. Let's open the group and delete all the stuff in here we don't want. Trooper says, seriously though, I'm really lucky to be in the generation of students, but that said, I'll definitely try to pass on my knowledge to my other classmates too. If I see someone struggling, and I hope some of the people could do the same if I struggle. Well, that's a good way to be. Because you're all working together in the class. It's not, you're not saying, they're not, unless you're in the Hunger Games, they're not pitting you against each other, so you guys should help each other out on your assignments. For sure. Because it makes everyone's life easier. And, you know, they can show you stuff that you didn't know, you can show them stuff that they didn't know, and everybody benefits. Trooper says, since it's true there, it's a huge amount of ways to learn about any subject nowadays, but I know plenty of people who don't take any of it into account. Well, that's true. There are many different ways to get the same result in 3D as well. I've told you guys before, the way I work is I show you my way of working, but there's many other ways to work to get to the same end result. Everybody will work differently, or other people could work differently. Everyone has their preferred way of working. So even just one way of creating something is not the only way to create that thing in 3D. Smoker says if there's any elective classes about 3D printing, photogrammetry, or AR, VR, you should take them. Yep, I would agree with Smoker 100%. So if you do have any electives, anything you can choose to add on to your normal base subjects, 3D printing, photogrammetry, augmented reality, or virtual reality are all good things to look at adding. For sure. Okay, let's close this group up and keep moving along our terrace. Let's copy it along. Just before I do that, I want to remove the old one. So let's delete this one. No, this one. Let's get rid of these. Now we can copy it. Smoker says those are all the new hotness and they'll make you more versatile. They will. And they'll make you more employable, which I think is what Smoker is alluding to when he says versatile. Iron Trooper says, sadly nothing I know of in my college, and if they are, I believe it's like £100 a class. Wow. Iron Trooper says, though my subject I'm doing is heavily focused on the creative side of modelling and animation with very little technical standpoint in the sense of coding, but there is a game development class that already teaches you VR game development. Okay. Generally, when you go into uni, you've got two types of courses. You've got the programming courses and you've got the design courses. Sometimes they will merge a bit of both of them together, and that's basically what I did. But they generally try and keep them separate simply because it's a left brain, right brain thing. Programmers are very logical, and I'll call it left brain. I always get which one's which confused. Whereas artists are more right brain and less capable on the left brain, so they're good at their art but not so great at programming, whereas programmers are good at programming and not so great at art. That's why they call it programmer art, because it's usually pretty bad. So generally courses will be one or the other. But like I said, there are exceptions. The course I did was both. I guess it just depends on the uni and the course. But it never hurts to learn programming, even if you're an art person, because that allows you then to go into other areas like technical artist. So you know art and you also know how to program, and those sort of things are really in demand, mega demand, because it's unusual to have someone that can do both because of this left brain, right brain thing. People don't generally, people aren't capable of doing both well anyway. So I always advocate learning programming languages, even if you're an artist. It'll help you in your work and it'll help you with employment. Having said that, though, if you want to concentrate just on art and you don't want to do programming because you don't understand it, you find it too hard, that's fine. And vice versa, if you just want to do programming, you don't want to do art, then that's all fine. The point I'm just trying to make is if you can do both, it makes you twice as employable. That's what I'm trying to say. Holds up 10 fingers smooth. Don't forget you got toes as well, Smitberry. Now let's get this one lined up. We're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to jump into isolation mode so it's easier for me to see what I'm doing. Okay, it needs to come over here. Needs to come down here. And over here. These are so fiddly, getting this thing lined up on top of the railing. Really fiddly. Let me see if I can get a better look at it in the top viewport. Iron Trooper says, sorry I'm messing up a lot of my sentence. That's okay. I get the gist of what you guys mean. If you're typing fast and you mangle a couple of words, I can generally work it out. That's not a problem. It says, are there a lot of developing subjects? And there are a lot of developing subjects, but they are all their own separate course. So I can't learn that at the same time as I'm doing the course right now. That's fine. Since there is a course heavily focused on coding, one in between with a bit of coding and modeling. And then there is my course heavily focused on creative side. When I said a little amount of coding, it's kind of a lie, since the last year of my modeling course does have a heavy focus. Well, that's good. As long as it's just some focus in programming, then that's all good. Yeah, I don't want you guys to do programming if you really don't want to. If you're not interested, then don't do it. All I'm saying is, if you can, or you like doing it, or you can do it, it will make you much more employable. And that's what it's all. We all want to get a job. We don't want to go to university and not get a job. That defeats the whole purpose. So yeah, knowing programming will make you more employable. That's the point I'm trying to make. But some people just can't do programming. They don't get it. Like, you know, they just find it too difficult, which is fine. So those people can just do art. But if you can do programming, you should try. That's the only point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it will make you more employable. That's all. Okay, let us delete the ones we don't need. Come on, Max. So, we don't want those. We don't want those. Those. We don't want any of those. And we don't want those. And we don't want those. And we also don't need that. Okay, let's close our group up. And we've got the 4 at the back here. Let's, actually it's probably, I've just noticed with this back one here, this should be in the middle anyway. That's weird. It's like that on all of them. So the back one here is a bit messed up. So I don't mind. I don't have such a problem deleting it because it is messed up anyway. So let's do that. Let's get rid of that. You, and you. Trooper says, yeah, they won't kick us out with zero experience in it. I've done coding before, and in my opinion, it's a bit of a bore. It can be a bit boring. But that doesn't mean I won't learn it, though, since, as you said, Phil, it will help with getting into some jobs. It certainly will. Particularly games development or film work. Archviz, any industry really where they're doing 3D, if you know programming, it's going to make you so much more employable. It really will. Because a lot of times studios need to incorporate certain programs into their pipeline, and a lot of the times, a lot of graphic software uses Python scripting. So if you know Python, for example, as a scripting language, as a programming language, you can create programs that can make the pipeline for the studio better, easier to use, better for the artist, quicker, which is why a lot of studios employ technical artists to write stuff to speed up their pipeline. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing to know programming, even as a 3D person. They won't kick you out. I get it. Smurfy says, totally, man. I wanted to apply to this 3D printing gig, but they wanted someone who knew Python in addition to modeling. Yeah, again, Python is used a lot. Oh, wow. I knew I did that. Yeah, it's used a lot to create pipelines for studios between different software. So knowing Python would be a good thing. Python particularly because a lot of software has been written to take advantage of Python, like EonView. You can use Python to hook into EonView's API. Max, a lot of 3D software uses Python. Max uses MaxScript as well, which is its own thing, but you can use Python as well, which is an open standard. So I get where you come from, Smithberry. I can see why they want someone with Python as well as 3D. Trooper says, could you possibly do an online course for coding at Smurfberry Barbecue? He's asking Smurfberry Barbecue. I'm unsure your age, but even so, there's never a bad time to learn. I'm actually trying to convince one of my parents to get back into art as a part-time course. Well, that sounds good. You guys know, I think everyone should do art regardless, because whether you want to do it for a living or not, it's a good outlet. Having a creative outlet can really help with just the stress of life. So, like, even if you don't want to do it for a job, just do it because it's fun. Just as a creative outlet for yourself. I find it therapeutic, put it that way. It's a good thing to do for your mind, and yeah, you should do it just for fun, because it's fun. I think it's fun. But yes, Smurfberry, you should learn some programming. Learn some Python. Python isn't that hard to learn. It's not like C# or C++ or anything like that. It's a scripting language. You can pick up the basics pretty quickly. You're probably going to try. You should try one, Smurfberry. I encourage you to. But if you really, some people just don't like programming, and I get that, because as Trooper says, it can be boring. It can be very boring and very dry. It's not like super sexy art and making super sexy models and stuff. It can be a bit boring. So I do get it if people don't want to do it. All I'm saying is it will make you more employable. Let us isolate this so I can line this up correctly. Smokeberry says, I want to know programming, but it's never clicked with me before. I can barely script. You know, it's funny with programming. Initially, when you first learn it, because you have never done anything, it can be quite difficult to get your head around how it does work. But trust me, once you get your head around that, then learning other programming languages becomes much easier. It's just that initial getting over how programming actually works in your head that's difficult, but once that clicks into place, then you'll be learning programming languages left, right and centre, because they're all pretty much the same. Pretty much. They all work pretty much the same way. Trooper says, yeah man, if you really want to learn 3D printing, what are you going to lose? What have you got to lose? You'll get something you might really want. You'll get something you might really want. You get out of it in the end. Yeah, well, that's right. Edo, it's good to see you, Edo. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? You've been ignored. Did I ignore you? I didn't ignore you, Edo. Let me scroll up in my chat and check if I ignored you. I didn't ignore you at all. This is the first message you posted. Cheeky. Oh, yeah, you did. My apologies. Full slap for me. I see you It's good to see you, Edo. My apologies for not seeing your message. I'm sorry. I hope you're well, Edo. Smokeberry says, my issue with it is that giving me a blank slate is too much freedom and I don't know what to do and how to set up a main loop and so on. Trooper says to Edo, yeah, I'm sorry, Edo, I'm just too caught up in what the guys are talking about. Did you give me mod slap? Did my mod slap go off, Smokeberry? It didn't work. Do it again. You just woke up, Edo? Now it's now time to work the finals. Do the mod slap again, Smokeberry. I want to see why. No, it didn't work. I'll have to look at that. I will have to check that out. Let me see if a fill slap will work. Yeah, my fill slap works. I'll look at the programming, because it is actually scripting to get these commands to work. I'll look at what's going on with the mod commands. It might be that I haven't added you to my chat client. That could be it. I'll do it after the stream, Smokeberry. I'll check it out then. My apologies. Just as well you checked it though, because I would have forgotten otherwise. I think I may have to add you to the mods in my chat client for it to actually work. I'll look at it after the stream. Tyrannies. Trooper says, here's Smokeberry, if you get into Python or Game Maker or some other coding language, I have a friend who's been doing it in college for 2 years. So I can get him in the Discord channel and see if he might be able to lend a hand. Well, that's very generous of you and your friend. And I'm sure we would all appreciate it. Not just Smokeberry. I'd appreciate seeing some programming guys in the Discord as well. I'm just going to try and move this over a little bit. I knew it. See, when I get it right on one side, it pops out on the other. Smokeberry says, asking if he knows any PHP. I need an extension for MediaWiki and PHP is the devil. I love PHP. Love it. I hate Java. I like JavaScript, but I hate Java. But I love PHP. Love PHP. I think that should be okay. We are close to the edge, but so long as it's inside the railing, it should be fine. Let's jump out of isolation mode. And let's delete the ones we don't want. Let's open up the group so I can delete the ones we don't want. Yes, I do like PHP, Smokeberry. I like PHP. I don't like Java. But I do like JavaScript. And let's get rid of the ones from this side. Up to here. And up to here. Smoker says, all I'm trying to do is add word counter to a wiki page, and it's like trying to understand. There are a lot of places online you can look up help as well with PHP, Smokeberry. You should check out a couple of places online. Now, we're still up here with these the positioning of this, but I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to close this group. We're going to do a save, and we are going to call it a day, I think. When I come back tomorrow, we will finish off copying across our railing sections. There's only this one to fix up, which is minor stuff, and the 3-step terrace one. Once we've done that, I'm pretty sure, because these smaller terraces, I copied those and I'm sure I UV mapped them. We'll check it tomorrow. So I think the UV mapping is probably going to be done. So we can probably jump into ZBrush tomorrow to finalise those steps, just to damage them up a little bit. Distress them a little so they look a little old. Trooper says, yeah, my friend has no idea how to use PHP, sadly. He knows Python, a bit of C++ and C#, and a few others. PHP, if you know C# and C++, you shouldn't have a problem with PHP. Anyway, we'll talk about it more tomorrow. I do want to thank you guys and girls for being here and watching. I'll be back on tomorrow, which will be the last stream for a week. I'll be back tomorrow. We should finish up the modelling. The aim is to finish the modelling tomorrow. So I want to thank you all. I will see you tomorrow. You guys and girls have a good night, good day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you guys.